Well, Andy Smith is my name, and I've been here on this farm at Freshwater Creek for 32 years. It didn't matter really what happened after about the start of December, because the damage was really done from the start of September. And in the last 10 or 15 years, we've expected rain in spring that we haven't got, and then this year it was tipped to be a bad El Nino, and it turned out to be completely as bad as they tipped. Graham Anderson, who's a weather and climate specialist, spoke at a conference in June, and he was so convincing. He's a conservative sort of fellow. He was saying, I know what you all think about forecasts, but I'm here to tell you that there are some forecasts that are more reliable than others, and the best reliability we've got is for forecasting a failed spring, and that's what I'm going to do now. Well, the first thing I did when I came home was I looked at a mob of ewe lambs that I had that I would normally keep through till around about January. But lamb prices were fantastic. They were still lambs and they were about to become not lambs. So I got in and I sold, out of 700, I sold 500 straight to the butchers. A lot of money, $125 each. And that took a lot of pressure off there. I had 20 heifers that I was lining up to join for an autumn calving. Again, the prices were so good, I wanted to keep them because you get attached to your bloodlines, etc. But I couldn't justify keeping them, and they went to the butcher in July. It eased the pressure maybe back to 85% of what we'd normally have, and it really needed to come back to 55% of what we'd normally have. And to do that, I had to do things that I should have done, things that I found a little bit against the grain. I mean, selling livestock that I had gone out particularly to get some genetics, the new genetics, and I felt really reluctant to out them. So I committed myself to expense, and now it's done, and we've had a bit of relief with this big 3 inches of rain the day after Australia Day. I'm happy, but if it hadn't have been for that relief, I'd have still been happy, but oh gee, it would have cost me an awful lot. There is a fine line between soil that's going to be easily damaged and soil that will just hang on. I mean, if you look at the soil here, it's well below the recommended 70% ground cover, but because it's flat, I'm happy enough that there's been no real damage even in washing over, and if I keep livestock off it, even if it dries totally out, I don't think it'll blow, but it's on the edge. There's plenty of summer crops that can go in August, and they mightn't do much. They might just sit there, and that's what I've found with the one I've got. It just sat there, but it did a marvellous job of sitting there and staying alive. There was nothing to eat, but now finally there's a lot of tucker. Just ignored it. I ate it off once to get rid of the moths, but now it's given my ewes that are getting in lamb a wonderful burst, puts fat on their back, and makes it so much easier to feed them through later on if I have to, because they haven't been for 6 months on a sort of a dry, hard ration. In some areas we are advancing a lot, but we've got to be careful not to get too smart for ourselves, and got to remember some of the basics from the past as well, which are, if you've got too many stock, just sell some.
Authorised by Victorian Government, 1 Treasury Place, Melbourne.